Hey y'all, and welcome back to another cake decorating video. Y'all, this has been the biggest cake I've made so far in my baking career. It was so stressful, it was so much fun, it was just everything. So all I'm gonna say is this is a money cake, and what I'm doing right now is building the money stacks. This is step by step on how I do it. This is my method. But the biggest thing about these cakes is that you want to make sure that the foundation is sharp and clean, as clean as possible, to make your life easier for when you are wrapping them in fondant. All of these cakes are going to be wrapped in fondant. And so you want to make sure that you fill in any empty holes with the buttercream so that the foundation is sharp and clean, so when you lay that fondant on there, it just lays on like a glove. So here I'm just making the edges as crisp as possible, filling in, you know, all that good stuff. I did this process for all of the cakes. I'm not going to show all the cakes on here, but I am going to show you this one. How much time? This is 10 times speed, y'all, so this is very, very time consuming. I broke this down in about a 3 to 4 day process on this cake. In total, it was 20 hours that I spent on this cake. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap all these up in fondant. So I'm going to have I'm going to have to roll the fondant out, make it as elastic as possible. And then I have this awesome rolling pin that has these rings that you can swap out and change the thickness of how thick you want the fondant to roll out. So here I'm just popping any air bubbles that you get from just kneading the fondant, and then I'm cutting any excess so that it's easier for me to manage. Here I'm just going to lift this fondant up and place it over my cake, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure you get your edges on and cut out any excess fondant, because that fondant is heavy and it will pull down on your cake and it will break, and it turns into a mess. So here I'm just smoothing the sides with my hand. I do have some tools to do this, but I find it easier to do it with my hand first, and then I'll go in with the tool to just flatten the sides and get the corners right. Again, you want to, as you're working the fondant, you want to cut any excess, because it will break your cake, it will crack it. So here I'm just smoothing the sides, making sure they're just as sharp as possible. I'm going to go ahead and show another cake here that I wrapped, and again, popping any air bubbles. This was the tallest stack, and again, you want to make sure you get your corners and then work yourself down, cutting down all the excess. The next part is going to be gluing the edible images, and I just used this edible glue and wrapped up these dollar bills in the, what are they called, those money strips? I'm not sure. But here I am just arranging it on my cake board, getting them in place. But thank you for watching. Come back for part 2. Ciao.